Hey everyone, it's Matthew Reinhardt, and it's time for another guided tour through just another one of my Star Wars pop-up books. This is the second pop-up Star Wars book that I did back in 2012. This is featuring all the stories from the prequel era movies, from The Phantom Menace to The Attack of the Clones, and then finally Revenge of the Sith. And so this book is sort of an encyclopedia, very much like the original one that I did, the Pop-Up Guide to the Galaxy. And this first pop-up here, this is the pod race between Anakin Skywalker, young, very, very young Anakin Skywalker, and Sebulba. And you can see Sebulba's big pod racer coming up right behind Anakin, but Anakin's going to end up winning in the end. The side pops actually feature kind of some of just the characters and some of the places and locations, including Coruscant, which you can see pops up. That one really was tough for me to get to open. And then, of course, some of the characters like clones showing up on that first spread, opening up and sort of and then this one here, this pop-up of all these spaceships. So there's all these Republic spaceships in the middle of a huge battle of war beyond worlds. So they're all fighting all at once and having all those ships kind of go all in different places in this chaotic battle. Boy, that was really tough to make all those work together. On the second spread, this was a really wild pop-up. Okay, so I love the creatures of Star Wars, and this one here, it's a giant Acklay. It's super tall. It's so big we can't even see it in the whole shot. So there's a giant Acklay, which is this sort of cross between a dinosaur and a I don't know, a spider. And then there are the other another monster on this page. Now this was from Attack of the Clones, and let's see, Anakin and Padme had to fight these animals in Geonosis, and so this is a Nexu. Some of the other pops on this spread. This one features all the different otherworldly, like aliens, like Chewbacca, the Wookiee. Here he is throwing a clone trooper who's just turned on all the Wookiees. Varactals, which Obi-Wan Kenobi rode a Varactal on one of the planets. There's Watto, and then some of the creatures from Naboo underneath the water. So there's the Colo crabfish. Wait, is that the Colo clawfish? No, that was just an illustration. That creature is an armored OPC killer. And then there's this other one that, if you remember in the movie, one monster eats another monster, so then there's that Sando Aqua Beast that comes up. And then, of course, my one depiction of Jar Jar Binks, which I thought was really cool, the way it kind of opened downward and then his tongue sort of shot out. All right, now, spread 3, there is General Grievous, and he had so many arms. This one's really hard to keep all those arms in place. There's two V-folds that kind of jut out from each other, and then all the arms are going in different directions and lightsabers, and whoa, just gives me a headache just even seeing it. Here's a small pop of some of the battle droids. There's a super battle droid and a regular B1 battle droid kind of standing up. This destroyer droid pop, now that one I really love because the destroyer droids sort of rolled in as a sort of a round object, and then they would kind of unfurl and become battle ready. So you can see kind of all the different mechanisms working together to make that sort of open up. I thought that was a really cool pop. I really like to show pops that what their pieces look like flat and then open, because you can really show transformation. There's Jango Fett rocketing after our heroes and other bounty hunters like Zam Wesell here. She looks normal, and ooh, now she's ugly. That was a very simple layer sort of thing change, but that was cool. And then, of course, another villain, our big villain in Phantom Menace, Darth Maul, having that, figuring out how to make that double-bladed lightsaber sort of fit inside the pop and swing with both of his arms. That was quite a feat. There were a lot of these pop-ups I had to build over and over again. This is spread 4. This is featuring some of the vehicles and technology of the prequel era Star Wars. And this first one is Anakin Skywalker. He's in a dogfight with two Trade Federation droid fighters behind him. And so having those droid fighters, see, the reason why they're even there, they're very simply just like sort of layers on there, but they help push in the spaceship. There's R2-D2 flying off. He has this R2-D2, a very different style pop-up. There were a lot of different engineering in this book. There's C-3PO showing his transformation from walking wires to actually finished version of C-3PO. And then, of course, this is an ATTE. This is one of the Republic's clone vehicles. This one was cool too because it kind of unfurls. The way it opens, it actually closes in on itself, and then it kind of stretches outward to become three-dimensional. There's the Slave One. That's Boba Fett and his father, Jango Fett's ship. So there should be a small pop right beside it that is the Naboo One fighter, getting it to kind of stretch out and be right there. Making the artwork for this was really fun. It was all cut paper collage artwork. And not only did I get to make all these cool, all the pop-up artwork for all the different pops, but I got to make all the side art, so you can see some side vehicles that didn't get to be made into pops, but they did get to be made into artwork. And this is the Republic gunship right here, opening up. The last pop, which we knew I needed to make a big Darth Vader. So this Darth Vader pop-up, actually for a moment when it opens, this is on spread 5, you can actually see Anakin for a second, and the lightsaber is blue, but then the lightsaber changes color, and Darth Vader reveals himself. So for a second you get to see Anakin, and that piece flips away and turns away, and then Darth Vader is revealed. And the lightsaber changes, and also the lightsaber changes from blue to red. So this was a really hard pop-up. It's hard to get movement that far away from the base page. There is the Jedi Council right there. You can see on Coruscant, there's a different Jedi. There's Ki-Adi-Mundi, Mace Windu, and Yoda, and others. And I wanted to sort of make that circular sort of structure and see the characters from a different angle. And here is just a bunch of Jedi, just all getting ready to kick some battle droid skid plate. Look at that. There's Aayla Secura, there's Kit Fisto, there's Mace Windu, there's Plo Koon, and of course, fan favorite, Ahsoka Tano. These two little pops here of Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting in the last scene from Revenge of the Sith. I wanted to make pop-ups that actually kind of jumped out of their areas, these two pops actually battle each other from across the page. So on top of it, they're fighting each other. And I love doing this, like sort of, playing with the idea of it being in a book. There's Yoda popping up really big. And then, of course, Palpatine. There were a lot of transformations in this book. There were a lot of transformations. So there's Yoda, and he's all, this is when Yoda he was young and he could jump around, and this is a much more active Yoda pop-up. And this pop-up, I love transformation. So Palpatine reveals himself to be a Sith Lord. Now this last pop, this is pretty incredible. This is the pop from the limited edition, and it has all the characters from the Clone Wars animated TV show, and including Cad Bane, Jabba's uncle over there. So there's all different kinds of characters that did not feature in the movies but were in those shows, which I loved so much. And you can see that the cover actually shows a transforming clone trooper. So you see the original design of the clone trooper helmet. That is Star Wars, a galactic pop-up adventure. I hope you've enjoyed this guided tour with me, Matthew Reinhart. Make sure to hit subscribe, and you'll see more. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.